Yes, guys, this is the instant reaction as we reach full time at Old Trafford, 0-0 between Manchester United and Newcastle United. A very good point for me on the road for Newcastle United. It's never an easy place to go for Newcastle. We've won once there over the last 50 years, but I'll tell you what, we had our chances. It was a good point, but we had our chances. In fairness, they had them as well. I think the biggest opportunity for us was in the first half. Joe Linton has two back-to-back headers. One hits the crossbar, one hits the post, and that was a big moment for us. I would be tempted to call it a tale of two halves. First half, I don't think we had all the ball, but we controlled the tempo. We played the ball really well. We kept the ball really well. I thought we had the better of the shots. As the first half was ending, they creeped in a little bit. I thought we came out strong at the start of the second half, but they started to take a little bit more of the ball, created a little bit more, and we were fighting, but we got a little bit wasteful with possession. And I'll be honest, you could tell we were frustrating them because they got to the point where they were just throwing themselves on the floor. To be honest, that's where it got to. There was a point when Pope had a free kick to take, and Ronaldo just took the ball off him before he'd even taken the free kick, and then tried to claim that we had taken it. And I was just watching it thinking, is that how bad it's got? Is that how bad it's got for them that they are trying to score a goal in that way? I thought we held our heads high. I thought we fought hard. They were really pressing at the end. Fred pretty much missed an open goal. Rashford put one wide. But, as I said, on a different day, we could have been up. To go through it a little bit, the lineups come out. Everyone's getting a little bit what the hell's going on because the number of reports coming out pre-game. Maxi's picked up a new knock. He wasn't on the bench. We'll have to wait and hear on that one. There's another report that Isak has picked up another knock as well. There was reports that Willock was unwell, so he didn't play. There was reports that Dan Burn was going to be unable to play, so there was a big question mark on what was actually happening. The teams come out. It's pretty much the exact same lineup as the last game, but Longstaff plays, so does Joe Linton, and it's Willock who drops down to the bench. We did see Willock come on later on. That also meant we had Murphy playing. I would have loved to have seen St. Max. I thought he put in a good shift. He fights hard, he presses hard, and we'll come on to that in a moment. Some of his final ball is, not quite where we want it to be, but generally I thought he gave it a good go. Early from the start, we pressed hard. We created chances. We turned the ball over, and we were definitely the better team in that first half. 12th minute, Wilson goes down. Varane kind of runs with him for the ball, steps over him, knocks him down. That's 12 minutes in. Was it a pen or not? I don't know. Have I got my black and white tinted glasses on? I don't know. But for me, it wasn't even spoken about. Nobody was looking at it. On a different day, I think that could have been a pen. You fast forward to the 22nd minute. We get a free kick on the edge of the box. Who's going to take it? Trippier takes it, hits the wall, bounces back out. Trippier loops it in. Joe Linton with a fantastic kind of looped header over De Gea. Hits the crossbar, it bounces out. Joe Linton is the man coming towards it. The way it bounces, he's almost got to get his head around it and try and knock it back across the goal. So it didn't quite fall right for him, but he's almost just had 20 pence piece head, and it's just literally hit straight off the front of his head and just hit the post and come back out again. For me, that was the moment of the game. Is it harsh to say that he should have scored it? I don't know. As an inch to the right, De Gea was down. De Gea wasn't getting it. If you put it above De Gea, anywhere in that net, it was going in. He couldn't quite grab his neck around it. I'm not going to be harsh, because I think it was a difficult chance, but it's a chance like that is the difference between us, going in at half-time 1-0 up. They started to press a little bit more into the end of the first half, and we get into half time. We were the better side. We really were. Things just didn't seem to be quite falling for us. I mentioned the Joe Linton chance, as I say, the Wilson one as well. He had a shot that he dragged wide. There was a couple of times where we were just overplaying the ball a little bit, but generally the first half was ours. We go into the second half, we were straight out. We were quick. It was actually at the start of that second half when Wilson had the shot that went wide, and we created that from the high press once again. There was moments where Dan Burn, and I don't think Dan Burn had the greatest of games today. I think he looked... It was a tough matchup for him against Anthony on that side. There was a few times where he kind of jerked around him, and Dan Burn couldn't quite either get him or catch him up. We brought Target on later on. But there was times when Dan Burn was pressuring their fullback in their corner flag. And I was like, that's where we are. That's what we're trying to do. We are really pressing them here. As the second half went on, they started to get into it a little bit more. But as I say, I don't really want to use the word, but they looked a little bit desperate. To be honest, they were taking it in turns to throw themselves on the floor. There was, well, I've not seen as many of the replays back, but there was one where Casemiro just throws himself on the floor, and I was like, is it his turn to throw himself on the floor now? It was like they were taking turns to go down, and, look, I'm not going to sit here and really badmouth another team, but I just felt like watching that game is that where you've got to now. You're just throwing yourselves around, and when Ronaldo nicked the ball from Nick Pope, who was trying to take a free kick, and then all of the Manchester United team shouting at the ref the goal should stand. Where are they with that one? And then as I say, as it went on, we were fighting. We were always fighting for it, but as I say, as it went on, when we got the ball, I felt like we were getting a little bit wasteful with it, and you could kind of see the turn in the tide where the last 15, it was let's make sure they definitely don't score. And I thought defensively we were very strong. As I say, I thought Burn may have not had the greatest game, but I thought Shaw and Botman were very solid in there. I'll throw it out to Longstaff as well. Going forward, possibly not the greatest, but defensively sitting in, trying to just get the ball away at times. And Eddie Howe brought on 3 subs near the end. He brought Willock on, he brought Wood on, he brought Trippier on. Let's get the fresh legs on. Let's try and hold it in there. I mean, that's when the perfect time would have been to bring on someone like Maxi. But coming into the end, we had a chance ourselves with not long left to go where Fraser's tried to play the ball across and it hasn't worked, and literally 2 seconds later there at the other end, and thank God Fred's missing an open goal. At the very, very end, Rashford's putting one just wide, and it goes 0-0. I predicted 1-1 in my prediction, and I always say, a draw on the road is a good point. And when you're taking on a team, with Manchester United, and look, we are a fantastic side. We've got some great players in there, great individual players in Bruno, Joey, Maxi's when he's available, Trippier. But the thing for us is we've got a very good team. We work very well together. For them, it's will Fernandes turn it on? Will Ronaldo turn around and score? Because they've got the players who can do that. And it was, can we keep them quiet? Can we try and get the goal when we can? And it's ended up 0-0. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Do you think 0-0 was a good result? As I say, we had our chances, but in fairness, so did they. Had Joe Linton scored that goal end of the first half, who knows what could have been. But it was a tough one. It's 0-0. We're going into a week with 3 games. We've got Everton in the middle of the week. So that's our chance to get back at home and get a 3-pointer. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Some of the stuff that went on during the game as well. Thank you for watching as always. Subscribe if you are still watching 9 minutes later and you haven't done so. I am on the daily upload right now as we approach the Everton game midweek and then Spurs next weekend as well. It's a busy week. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.